And we continue learning Dirshu Mishnah Brura Elchais Netilas Yadaim Baruch Hashem. Almost finally caught up. We're beginning Siman Kuf Samach Beis, which the Machaber coins are the halachas of Hagbal, lifting V'shivshav Yadaim and Netilah, and rubbing your hands when you wash them. We have 10 sifim, says the Machaber in Sif Aleph. Hanoitel, one who washes his hands are like Via Yadav, you have to lift up his hands. What does that mean? Says the Ramah, Dahainu, Rashi Etzvah, that means the top of his fingers. L'mayla, upwards. What's the reason? Continues the Mechaber. So water should not come down underneath the wrist and then fall back down and be metame your hands. Says the Ramah, you shouldn't first pick up your hands and then put them back down. Again, so if you're going to pick up your hands and then put them back down, either way, the water is going to fall down. Says the Mechaber, this is only if you don't wash your entire hand until the wrist. However, if you wash until your wrist, like we learned at the end of the previous siman, it's the right thing to do the day Rishayna. Ein sarech like via yadav. You don't have to lift up your hands because you washed all the way to the wrist, so everything is tarred. You don't have to worry about anything. Says the Ramah, v'yesh chalkim bazeh. V'chein, similarly, im shavach al shtei yadav raviyas avam achas. If you pour on both hands one large raviyas, kimin de insha mayim tameim klal. There's no tamei waters, as we've seen many times. The act of pouring raviyas at one time obviates the potential of there being any tamei waters. Then in sarach like via yadav, you don't have to pick up your hands. V'chein, similarly, amatul yadav in sarach like via yadav. So you don't have to lift up your hands if number one, you wash to the wrist. If number two, you wash to the raviyas. If number three, you dipped your hands in the water. Says the Ramah, Yeshem nishavach al yadav gimel pamim. Some say, says the Ramah, if you pour on each hand 3 times, and that's the 4th avenue of heter, not to lift your hands if you wash 3 times. So says the Mishnah Berurah, let's understand what's going on over here. Ha noitel, one who washes his hands. Says the Mishnah Berurah, aktim akdama ksara, another short akdama, k'viyam vur b'tor b'yiseisiv yeser apoistim. K'dei sheisvaroi la'asifim v'hu. And this is the akdama. In Nitvar of Simikov Nenchas, which we learned, the Tam Netilas Yadaim umisham the Yadaim askani zim lachin God's roleim tama. Your hands are moving all over the place, and therefore, Chazal, what guards your hands are tamim loishet haravias mayim, unless you purify them with a ravias of water. And as we have learned, you have to pour 2 times on your hands. The b'shvicha rishonim itar yadav. Because the first pouring makes your hands tar. Aval, however, the water is still tamei. Shenetu miyadav, because water became tamei from your hands. And then the second pouring removes the tamei waters. However, as we've seen, if you pour 1 large raviyas on both hands, or you pour a complete raviyas on each hand, you don't need to pour again. We'll see over there, Mirz Hashem, the Chazaynish, the Chayadam, and we'll see that Lamaisa, there were Gedalim, and this is indeed what they did. They poured 1 large time on each hand, as if you pour 1 large time, 1 more than a raviyas, there's no mayim to me, there's nothing to worry about. Someone who washes his hands has to lift his hands. The water should not go downward and then be matami your hands. Explain the mavarshim. Maybe a little bit of the tummy water is going to go downward. And it's above the place in which Chazal were metakin. And then, even if Mayim Shniyim comes on top of it, it's not going to be Matayr. Why not? The Mayim Shniyim and Matayr, because the second water is only purified that which already was Tahar, and only as the water which is Tameh, then the second Netila, the second pouring, could wash off the Tameh waters. But upon an area of your hand, which did not get washed by the first washing, the second washing will not remove, and rather will leave the water is tamei. And therefore, according to this explanation, even if you wash all the way to the wrist, you still have to lift your hands in this concern, because maybe we'll go even further down, and then will come back and make your hands tummy. And there are those who argue on this, and they hold when you wash your entire hand until your wrist, the like is our minhag. We're not worried the water is going to drop further down and come back up and be mitame your hands. A Yom Kippur type of washing, a Shas Chag type of washing, like the day of Rishayna. If you wash only until the end of the fingers, that is where this concern really applies. As we have seen. To us, then we have to be worried that a little bit of the water might fall down. It's hard to be precise. And then the second waters will not purify it. If you don't pick up your hands, the water will fall downward. And then it'll be matame everything else. So that is the Akdama, and we basically from that Akdama already start to see what this halacha is referring to, the difference between whether you wash until the wrist or not. Says the Mishnah Berurah, if you did not lift your hand, it does not something you have to wash again, unless you saw practically that the water fell down lower and went back up, like we are Yadav Sivkat and Gimel. Take a Bachamayim Shneim and Nigov until right after the second washing, until you dry. Because maybe the first waters are going to go Chutz LaPerak Vein Tamei Mikvar. Shekim Lutuma Al Yedei Ayadayim. Bachamayim Shneim Yerdu Lamata Vitamas Yadayim. It says the Mishnah Berurah of a Toiv Lizar Afilu Be'isa Nesina Gufa Lias Yadav Behagbal. Says Mishnah Berurah, as on the halach. The halach that we just saw is the Lamaisa. You should raise your hands after washing them. Adds on in the Mishnah Berurah a taif that while you are washing your hands should be angled upward during the washing. It's a din. This is only if you're holding your hands up. Someone else pours on your hands. If you're pouring in your own hands, says the Mishnah Berurah practically, when you put the cup in the other hand and you pour it downward, your hand is automatically going to be downward. So the only way you could potentially keep your hands up the whole time is if someone else would be pouring on your hands. Which causes like if you don't have someone else to pour in your hands, and here's that eitzah already a third time just for today to wash with a full revius. Why? You don't have to worry about this whole lifting up your hands because none of the water becomes tummy. So if you keep your hands pointing downward the entire time. So we're seeing the critical importance of trying to wash with a lot of water, as then you don't get involved in this whole issue of how to raise your hands, etc. Continuing the Mishnah Berurah of Katan Dalad, Rashi, it's of the tips of your fingers. Hainu, the Dasya Paiskin. This goes according to the Paiskin Le'el and Siman Kov Samach Aleph. The Sagim Netilas, as we saw in the previous year, there are those shitas who hold Sagim Netilas Kishetz V'Asav. Aval, however, the Dasya Paiskin Le'el Shan Dezar Netilas Kol you have to wash your hand. Memelo tzarich like be a gamkin kol pieces of yad. V'yishabar shegam kavanas rosh yitzvayis keinu shegam be a kula elam nefarish v'efen hagba. Then she rich yitzvayis lemala v'kaf hazraya le-mata. What's the reason why you're doing this? You don't want the water to fall down and then be metam it all again. Sifkat and hey explains the Mishnah Berurah. It's like the shema yatsu amayim arishayim atameim. chutz leperik, the first waters that are tummy might fall downward. When you don't lift your hands, will go downward and be metame everything that you just did. And says the Ramah that the same thing in Mashbilim Netilas, if you keep your hands pointing downwards, you never lift them up, then you don't have this concern. So if got involved, the water is never going to fall lower. I'd say for till the end of the washing. After the second washing, of course, you can raise your hands. After even before you dry them. Why? Because at that point, there's no longer any mayim timeim. We'll stop over here, but let's just see the Dirshu. Says the Dirshu, note number 1, that what is the time of Netilas Yadaim, quoting what we learned to Siman Kufnan Ches, is because Yadaim Maskani is saved, and that's the reason why we have a Gzeira, unless you use a revius of water. Says the Dirshu, note number 1, Velita Yadaim L'Suda B'Sekisei, or B'Cheda Arachsa, says the Mechasiyas V'Asatchak Yoshiv Aderech V'en Lo Makam Achel L'Ita Yadav, and your Messiah, if you're not going to eat, then it's going to be mutter. But you should make the bracha outside. So over here, not sure why the Dirshu places this over here, but it's a very important halacha. It's a halacha of, are you allowed to wash in a bathroom? You're allowed to wash in a bathroom, because we're saying that the whole reason for washing is Yadayim Maskani is same, and your hands are going to come tameh, but the bathroom itself has a level of tamah. So it says, the Mechaz Yitzchak B'Shas Adchak, you know where else to wash? Lamais, you're allowed to wash in the bathroom, you just make the bracha outside. Says Hashem Zalman Arbach, in a bathroom you should not wash your hands if not shesatchak, but in a cheder ambatya, more of a shower room, then it's allowed lechatzchila. And priest says vilon. If you have a separation between where the actual toilet is and where the sink is as well, you could be mekel as considered a separate shus. And there are those certainly in Eretz Yisrael that do that. They have the toilet in one area, they have a curtain of some sort, separating it from the sink area like this Rosh Zalman holds. Kol Makom, it still says Rosh Zalman, make the bracha outside. It says the Ar L'Tzion. You're allowed to wash your hands. No problem, just make the bracha outside. And it says the Ar L'Tzion, Roi the Shamayim to make a Suras HaPesach, in order that, because you can wash your hands over there, and there's a lot of yeshivas in Eretz Yisrael have this, that they're washing areas through a Tzuras HaPesach. So as it is considered a separate shus, then you let it wash there even lichatzchila, only connected the opening of the embatio, the toilet, that's going to be the place that the ruach ra is there, and you should not wash. However, comes from the Shevet HaLevi, and he says, mutter lichatzchila, to wash your hands, even in the showers, af meklachet shel mikvah, as long as they don't use cold water. But if they wash warm water, then you should be careful, because then it has the din, it's the steam, etc. Similarly, with regard to using washing your hands in the bathroom of an airplane, says Rav Vosner, if you have no other water to wash your hands, then you can wash your hands there, but make a bracha outside. Just have to make sure there's no reach ra, etc. Now, what about regarding Netilas Yadaim V'Isai Kisei in the bathroom itself? Says the Chazon Ish, it does not help. He says, what can you do? He says the Chazon Ish, you're not even able to wash your hands. While your hands are wet, walk outside, dry them, make the bracha, because the Chazon Ish held that in the Beis HaKisei there is zuhama, it's filth, and therefore you cannot wash there. Similarly, Rav Moshe Feinstein in a tshuva, right, similarly in the Chazon Ish adds on, if you wash your hands kidin, to the bathroom, it's batal, and you even need to wash again. So Chazon Ish is very extreme. He holds our bathrooms have a regular din of zuhama, and therefore the mere sticking your hands in the bathroom would require them to wash again. I think we have mentioned in the past that Lamaisa of Scheinberg certainly disagreed with all of this, and he held our bathrooms are very clean, and you are allowed to wash there, and that certainly is where a large minhag ha'olam will come from, but there certainly is a makam chumrah to not wash in the bathroom, to be chayshish for all these many shitais that are holding that one should not wash in the bathroom. And we'll pick up continuing Sif Aleph in the next year, B'siyata Dishmai.